At 65, Raymond never imagined he would lose his sight, not like this. It started with something small, a barely noticeable shift in his perception. He couldn't quite read the numbers on his phone screen without squinting. Street signs at night looked blurry, haloed by the glare of oncoming headlights. He chalked it up to age another unwelcome signpost on the road to retirement. Then one evening, he settled into his favorite armchair, eager to watch his beloved detective show. He glanced at the screen and couldn't recognize the faces of the actors. He rubbed his eyes, convinced it was just fatigue, blinked, trying to refocus. Still, a haze, a watercolor painting, left out in the rain. A cold dread began to creep into his bones. The next morning, fueled by a potent mix of fear and denial, he made an appointment with his ophthalmologist. By the end of the week, the doctor, a kind woman with tired eyes, delivered the news that would forever alter the course of his life. Raymond, your blood sugar is out of control. You're already developing diabetic retinopathy. He heard the words, each syllable a hammer blow, but they didn't land, not really. His mind refused to grasp the enormity of the situation. All he could think, a panicked whisper in the echoing chamber of his skull, was, I might go blind. Raymond had been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes 2 years earlier. The diagnosis had been delivered with a brisk efficiency that somehow minimized its impact. He was given a prescription, a pamphlet filled with generic advice, and a gentle pat on the back. He thought he was managing it, doing his best. He religiously took the pills, tried to eat better, a vague directive he interpreted as switching to whole wheat bread and drinking orange juice instead of soda. He felt like he was making an effort, a genuine attempt to wrangle this invisible beast. But no one told him the full story, the intricate dance of hormones and glucose that was quietly wreaking havoc within his body. No one clearly explained that fruit juice, that seemingly healthy alternative, could spike blood sugar just as fast, if not faster, than soda flooding his system with a sugary tsunami. That white rice and white bread, those staples of his diet, acted like sugar in the bloodstream, rapidly converting to glucose and contributing to the relentless assault on his pancreas. That inflammation, the silent fire burning beneath the surface insulin resistance, the body's stubborn refusal to listen to insulin's commands and high blood sugar, the constant overflow in his metabolic bathtub could slowly destroy his eyes, nerves, and kidneys without any pain, without any immediate tangible warning signs. I felt fine, he said to the doctor, the words laced with a bitter regret. Until I didn't. The insidious nature of the disease was its ability to lull you into a false sense of security, to whisper sweet nothings, while it quietly dismantled you from the inside out. That night, Raymond sat in the dark, the silence of his living room amplified by the turmoil in his mind. He thought about his father, a proud, stoic man who had lost part of his foot to diabetes, a constant reminder of the potential consequences he had conveniently pushed to the back of his thoughts. He thought about the things he loved, the simple pleasures that gave his life meaning, reading to his granddaughter Lily, her small hand nestled in his, her bright eyes shining with delight, fishing on Sunday mornings, the tranquil stillness of the lake, broken only by the gentle lapping of the water against the hull of his boat. Watching the sunrise with a hot mug of coffee in hand, the world slowly awakening in a symphony of colors. Was all of that slipping away? Was he destined to follow in his father's footsteps, his world gradually shrinking as his body betrayed him? No, absolutely not. Not without a fight. He refused to surrender to the darkness, both literal and figurative. He wouldn't let diabetes steal his sight, his joy, his life. He opened his laptop, the screen illuminating his face in the darkened room, and typed natural ways to reverse type 2 diabetes. He braced himself for a deluge of misinformation, of miracle cures, and empty promises. He was pleasantly surprised. What Raymond found wasn't a magic bullet, a quick fix that would erase years of neglect. He didn't need to go keto, a restrictive diet he knew he wouldn't be able to sustain. He didn't need magic pills, the snake oil remedies that promised everything and delivered nothing. What he needed was information, reliable science-backed information, and consistency, the unwavering commitment to incorporating that information into his daily life. For the next 3 months, Raymond embarked on a journey of self-discovery, transforming his kitchen one habit at a time. He didn't overhaul everything overnight, a strategy he knew was doomed to failure. He focused on small, sustainable changes, building momentum and creating a ripple effect that gradually transformed his entire lifestyle. Here's what he added: the arsenal of natural weapons he deployed in his fight against diabetes. A teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water before meals. He'd read about its ability to improve insulin sensitivity and help regulate blood sugar levels. It tasted vinegary, to say the least, but he quickly got used to it, viewing it as a necessary medicine. A cup of green tea every morning instead of orange juice. He discovered the powerful antioxidant properties of green tea and its potential to lower blood sugar. He added a slice of lemon and a touch of honey to make it more palatable. Cinnamon sprinkled liberally on oatmeal or stirred into herbal tea. He learned about cinnamon's ability to mimic insulin and improve glucose metabolism. He even started adding it to his coffee, creating a surprisingly delicious flavor combination. Pumpkin puree in soups and stews. He discovered that pumpkin was rich in fiber and low in sugar, making it a perfect addition to his meals. He even experimented with pumpkin pie spice, adding a warm, comforting flavor to his dishes. Bitter melon, stir-fried with garlic. This one was a challenge. Bitter melon, as the name suggests, is intensely bitter. But Raymond persevered, knowing it was nature's potent blood sugar stabilizer. He learned to mask the bitterness with plenty of garlic and ginger. Black rice, forbidden rice instead of white rice. He discovered that black rice was packed with antioxidants and fiber, offering a slower, more sustained release of glucose into his bloodstream. It also added a beautiful nutty flavor to his meals. Dark leafy greens, like kale and spinach, lightly sautéed with olive oil and garlic. He embraced the power of leafy greens, loading up on vitamins, minerals, and fiber. He even started adding them to his smoothies, a surprisingly delicious and nutritious way to get his daily dose. Fatty fish like salmon or sardines baked or grilled. He incorporated fatty fish into his diet for its anti-inflammatory properties and its abundance of omega-3 fatty acids. He even learned to enjoy sardines, a surprisingly versatile and affordable source of nutrients. Lentils and chickpeas instead of processed carbs. He swapped out white bread pasta and pastries for lentils and chickpeas, embracing the power of legumes to provide sustained energy and stabilize blood sugar levels. He discovered a whole new world of delicious and healthy recipes. He didn't try to be perfect. He knew that perfection was an unattainable goal, a recipe for frustration and failure. He just tried to be consistent, making small, incremental changes that added up over time. He allowed himself occasional indulgences, a slice of pizza on Friday night, or a piece of chocolate cake on his birthday. He focused on progress, not perfection. In the first week, Raymond noticed something remarkable. No more sugar crashes after lunch. His energy levels held steady throughout the day, a welcome change from the roller coaster of highs and lows he had become accustomed to. He felt more alert, more focused, more alive. By the second week, the constant thirst, the nagging dryness in his mouth that had plagued him for years disappeared. He no longer felt the need to constantly drink water, a subtle but significant improvement in his quality of life. By the fourth week, he was walking 20 minutes every evening, something he hadn't done in years. He felt stronger, more energetic, more connected to his body. He enjoyed the fresh air, the beauty of the sunset, the simple act of putting one foot in front of the other. At his 90-day checkup, his A1C, a measure of his average blood sugar levels over the past 3 months, had dropped 2 full points. His doctor, the same kind woman, with tired eyes, raised her eyebrows in astonishment. "What have you been doing?" she asked, a hint of disbelief in her voice. Raymond smiled, a genuine, heartfelt smile that reached his eyes. "Eating like my grandmother taught me," he said, but with Google's help. He explained his dietary changes, his newfound commitment to exercise, his unwavering dedication to taking control of his health. Raymond didn't just get his blood sugar under control. He got his life back. He got his confidence back. He stopped feeling like a prisoner in his own body, a victim of circumstance. He felt empowered, capable, in control. And the best part, his vision stabilized. No more worsening. The diabetic retinopathy had been caught early enough, and his efforts had prevented further damage. The doctor said, with a genuine smile, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Every morning, Raymond follows a simple yet powerful routine. Wake up at 6:30 a.m., before the sun has fully risen, embracing the stillness of the early morning hours. Brew green tea, savoring the aroma and the warmth as he sips it slowly, while journaling, reflecting on his goals, his gratitude, and his intentions for the day. Light stretching or walking in fresh air, connecting with nature, and energizing his body. Cinnamon sprinkled over a warm breakfast, adding a touch of sweetness and spice to his morning meal. Add apple cider vinegar to a glass of water before his first meal, preparing his body for the influx of nutrients and regulating his blood sugar. It's not complicated. It doesn't take fancy tools or pricey ingredients. But it works. A quiet testament to the power of gradual change and to the healing that happens when you finally listen to your body. Raymond realized that his body wasn't his enemy. It was waiting to heal, longing to thrive, if only he gave it the chance. He learned that diabetes wasn't a life sentence. It was a wake-up call, an opportunity to embrace a healthier, more fulfilling life. He continued to read to Lily, her laughter filling his heart with joy. He continued to fish on Sunday mornings, finding solace in the tranquility of the lake. He continued to watch the sunrise, marveling at the beauty of the world around him. He had not only saved his sight, but he had also rediscovered the joy of living the simple pleasures that made life worth living.